Hi, my name is Regina Tingle and I graduated from Coppell High School in 1998. And this is my son Luke, and I'm standing here in my Brighton kitchen with my husband filming in Brighton, England. Just wanted to show you a picture of me in high school. This was 22 years ago, my senior portrait. So same me, same hair, same everything, just more of me. I wanted to talk to you guys, if I can, today a little bit about the things I wish I would have known in high school. But first I'll tell you a little bit about how I got to be in Brighton in England. And basically it started at Coppell High School. I went to Alicante, Spain with my Spanish teacher at the time, who took me there, and we stayed with a family, and I was just totally hooked. I loved traveling. I loved being in Spain. I loved the Spanish language. So I decided to actually minor in Spanish and marketing, and in college. So basically, I went to Alicante and did that for a couple different summers. But that was right before I went to Texas Tech University. So I was there for a year, and then I realized that Texas Tech and the Wild West wasn't exactly for me. So I transferred to University of North Texas, where I declared journalism as my major, and I lived at home with my parents. I commuted from Coppell. I used to live on Bethel School Road. So yeah, I did that for a while, and then I ended up studying abroad in Italy. So I did that for my junior year, and I spent an entire year in Perugia, and I learned to speak Italian, and I ended up staying, and there's a whole other story to that I'm writing a book about. I really am. And but basically my life went on to lead me around the world. I lived in New Zealand for a bit, and I picked grapes because I couldn't find a job doing anything else. But I ended up working and living in Perugia for 13 years. So Italian is my second language, and so long story short, I ended up getting a job in international higher education while I was in Perugia. Nothing to do with journalism, but I ended up loving it. So I worked with students for the majority of my career. I worked ended up being 16 years in international higher education, and it was basically on the study abroad side, so it was in country. So I was always working with students when they were having this big experience abroad, and then when I was in London, I was the site director for a program that CIS Abroad ran, and I met my husband there. So my current husband, who's filming at the moment, and we had Luke in June. So he's a little Brighton baby, and I'm gonna just show you guys how to make pasta. Actually, just a really, really very Italian recipe, and it's basically one of the things that I knew how to make pasta, but I just want to show you a little bit about what essential ingredients can do in your life and in your belly. Basically, let me just put him down. My timer's up. I'm doing this a little bit backwards. I'm gonna get the strainer here. When you have a child, you learn to multitask even more than you ever thought you would need to. But so this is our pasta. It's not really meant to sit that long, but because I'm doing this backwards and because I'm filming, I'm just going to show you quickly. So essential ingredients that you can do. There's just four or five ingredients here. Pasta, salt, garlic, olive oil, and tomatoes. And you can use canned tomatoes. I'm just going to use fresh tomatoes. Oh yes, and garlic. So you peel your garlic, and if you want to, you can kind of smash it with a knife. That's what I do. You guys, this is so simple. And you just put some olive oil in a pan. By the way, this is called an aga. This is what sometimes you can find in British homes. This house is very old, but this aga is not that old, but it's just well used, as you can see. This is a 160-year-old house. So you put some olive oil in a pan. Yeah, Luke, you're all right. And you pop the garlic in there and let it simmer for a few minutes. And then just go ahead. You can just put the tomatoes in. I just sliced mine in half. And we're just gonna let all of that cook for a few minutes. And thank you, Luke. Yes, that's true, isn't it? I like to use a wooden spoon, which of course I don't have right here handy. I'm gonna have to get it out of the drawer. By the way, if you guys have ever seen a wooden spoon with a hole in it, that hole is to measure 1 portion of pasta. Right, come here you. You're being so loud. Multitasking, again. So, we're just gonna stir this around a bit, and it's gonna get nice and sort of, these are gonna cook down quite quickly. Smells good. And if you want, you can add a little bit more salt. I like to add, well, we didn't add any salt at all, so we just add a little salt like that. And if you like pepper, you can put pepper. You can put chili flakes in here if you like chili, if you like it spicy. I'm just not gonna do that right now because I only have 2 hands and I cannot reach for another thing right now. And anyway, the reason why I'm just showing you this really simple recipe with essential, simple ingredients is because that's sort of my advice for you guys, is to figure out what's essential to you and your well-being in your life and make it a practice. So if you have, you know, a sport that you love, or, you know, something creative that you love, and maybe you don't know what that is yet, but I recommend just going for it, and I recommend figuring that out for yourself. I remember when I just graduated high school, I remember looking around and realizing that a lot of people that I knew had some creative outlets that they would practice on a consistent basis, just for the fun of it, just for the joy of it. And I didn't really know what mine was. I figured I had one, but I didn't know what it was. Despite the fact that I just earned my degree in college in journalism, I did not suspect that mine was writing. So when I actually made the decision when I was 30 to go to grad school and get my master's in fine arts, I remember sitting around the room and I had my moleskin journal, I had a specific Bic pen that I liked, and I looked around the room and I realized everyone else had the same thing. I found my people, I found my tribe, but it wasn't until I was 30. So I just want to say that it does take time to get to know yourself, and you don't have to know everything about what you want to do in life. You just have to kind of be open and curious and just keep searching, I think, and being inquisitive. I never would have guessed that I would have been 40 years old in a kitchen in Brighton, England, holding my 6-month-old, talking to you guys. But here we are. So just cook this down. This is just going to keep on cooking. I would maybe do it another 5 minutes, 6 minutes, not even. But for now, I'm not going to cook it that long so you guys can see. Oh, the other thing I was going to say, when you boil your water, I'm not going to show you how to boil water. When you boil your water, salt the water. This is the secret, okay? So, salt. When you're salting the water, you want to do like a tablespoon, or as the Italians call it, a manciata, so that's a handful, per person. This is a big deal, per person. It sounds like a lot of salt, but it's going to flavor the pasta in a perfect way to where it's so tasty. You guys, seriously, this is good food for if you have a date that you need to impress. It's so easy. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to see how this is kind of getting like a nice little juicy sauce to it. It's really simple. And that's just the gist of it. I will pour this. Somebody's hungry. I'm just going to add this to my pasta. Like I said, normally I might cook it a little longer. And definitely take the garlic out. You don't need the garlic in there. Stir up your pasta. Add some Parmesan, and if you want, some basil. And voila! Lunch, dinner is served. So, yes. All the best to all of you. Good luck, Coppell High School graduates, 2020, 2021. Take care. Bye.